Hi guys, so I decided to start a series on my channel called 5-Minute Philosophy, where the purpose of these short bursts is to sort of, discuss some of the other aspects of yoga that, we may not always think about or be aware of. And I'm going to put the disclaimer out there that 5 minutes is not nearly enough time to do justice to a lot of yoga philosophy and concepts. But my intention is to perhaps plant the seed of curiosity in you and just bring awareness to you, and then maybe you go down and are interested in it and you deep dive and things like that. So, and I link to some really great podcasts as well as some awesome websites and blogs that in the description box below that dive deeper into the topic that we're talking about today, which is the 8 limbs of yoga, right? So yoga is much more than just posture practice, asana. It's part of the 8 limbs as described by sage Patanjali. So a really short, brief historical context, if you will, on who sage Patanjali is. So sage Patanjali, he wrote the Yoga Sutras somewhere between 500 BCE and 400 BCE. And yoga existed at this point, but what he did is he put it together, he kind of codified it and put it into a system that we could follow, for a more spiritual life or a better life or a more yogic life. And he came up with the 8 limbs of yoga, Ashtanga. So Ashta is 8, Anga is limbs. Together, it's the 8 limbs of yoga. So today, I'll give a very brief overview of what the 8 limbs are. So yeah, let's get started. So first limb is the yamas. I have my notes in front of me just to make sure I don't mess anything up. But first limb is yamas. So yamas there are 5 of them. They are moral guidelines, if you will. So the 5 yamas. First one is Ahimsa, which is non-harm. Second is Satya, truth. Third one is Brahmacharya. It's translated often as celibacy, but it's more about it's the right use and the right focus of your mental and physical energy. It's a better definition of Brahmacharya. 4 is Asteya, which is non-stealing, non-covetousness. 5th one is Aparigraha, which is non-greed, non-hoarding. So those are the yamas. The second limb is niyamas, and there are also 5 of them. And the niyamas are like observances or good practices that one should do. There are 5 niyamas. First one is saucha, which is cleanliness. Second one is santosha, contentment. Third is tapas, which is discipline, like the right amount of zeal and inner fire. 4th one is svadhyaya, and I know I shouldn't play favorites, but this is actually my favorite niyama, it's self-study, self-reflection. And the 5th one is Ishvara Pranidhan, which is surrender to a higher power. And that can be different things for different people. So yeah, it's surrender. Those are the niyamas. So the yamas and niyamas together are the kind of like the right ways to live. These are practices and principles that you put into your life just to live as a good person day to day, good practices and habits and intentions to have as you just go about life. So those are the first 2 limbs. Third limb is that we are all familiar with is asana, which is postures. And postures the intent is to use them to purify your body and get it prepared for the higher limbs of yoga. 4th limb is pranayama, mindful breathing. 5th limb, pratyahara, which is withdrawing your senses, going inward. And you'll begin to see the connection between all the limbs, right? So that's 5th limb, pratyahara. 6th limb, so 6, 7, and 8. So now we kind of leave the physical realm of yoga and enter the higher, more metaphysical, more energetic practices of yoga, and they take a lot more concentration and deepening of your practice. So sixth limb is Dharana, which it stands for, it's like concentration. It's really fixing your attention on one single point. Seventh limb is Dhyana. It's a state of meditation. And eighth limb is something that I think a lot of us have heard, is Samadhi. It's, again, it's a state of enlightenment, of true bliss, of oneness, and it's very, very difficult to describe because it's something that you just become, you just are. You don't go searching for it, you don't work on it with the end result goal in mind, it just happens. So those are the 8 limbs of yoga, and you'll notice that they're all very interconnected with each other. It's meant to be seen as a circle, the 8 limbs, because you need all of them to, you practice all of them. They're all important, and it's, they're all interconnected with each other and help us get to the highest purpose or goal of yoga, which is union with the self and finding pure bliss in samadhi. So those are the 8 limbs, and this is your first of a few series that I'll do, videos I'll do on 5-minute philosophy. Again, thank you so much for listening and watching, and I have some really great resources linked below, and I hope this stokes your curiosity. Thanks so much for listening and watching.